It's Philosophy Talk.
We begin our story back in the days of Alexander the Great, Diogenes of Sinope, who was to become one of the greatest philosophers of the ancient world, begged for a living, and often slept in a large ceramic jar in the marketplace.
Diogenes the Cynic, with a lantern in his hand, wandering the daylight, searching for an honest man.
It's 5:29 on a Tuesday morning, and Times Square's answer to Diogenes is swinging his beacon far out into the night.
But when it comes down off that hilltop, man, you better watch out.
What happened in that tree?
You want the truth? Of course you do. You're like Diogenes, with slingshot in place of lamp.
Coming up on Philosophy Talk.
Is it possible to find a truly honest person?
What if you didn't need anything from anybody else?
Can comedy be a form of philosophy?
Welcome to Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Except your intelligence. I'm Ray Briggs.
And I'm Josh Landy. We're coming to you via the studios of KLW San Francisco Bay Area.
Continuing conversations that begin at Philosopher's Corner on the Stanford campus, where Josh teaches philosophy.
And at the University of Chicago, where Ray teaches philosophy.
Today, we're thinking about Diogenes and the honest life.
Yeah, Diogenes. So he was that Greek philosopher living in the 5th and 4th centuries BCE. He practiced a philosophical mode of living called cynicism.
Right, not modern cynicism, which is about seeing the worst in everything around you, but ancient cynicism, which is about living simply and honestly.
Yeah, and he sure practiced what he preached. I mean, the guy didn't even have a house. He just had a large wine jar on the outskirts of town. I gotta say, Ray, that doesn't sound entirely appealing to me.
I don't know. Sounds to me like he had a pretty great life. He didn't have to work. He wasn't beholden to anyone. He just pretty much did whatever he wanted.
Yeah, like doing all his bodily functions out in the open. There's a later writer who describes him as doing in public the things of Demeter and those of Aphrodite. Ew.
Oh, come on, Josh. Are you ashamed of having a body?
Well, I am British.
Even so, what's the problem? Diogenes was just pointing out that human beings are animals. You wouldn't disagree with that, would you?
No, fair enough.
Okay, so why not live like the animals that we are? If we don't, we're going against nature.
But going against nature is great. Don't you appreciate having a roof over your head, heat in the winter, some nice meals to eat?
Nah, all that just makes you weak. If you're the kind of person who can be comfortable out in the open, fending for yourself, nobody can ever tell you what to do. What are they going to do? Take away your patch of ground?
I'm all for independence, but sounds like that comes at a pretty high cost. I mean, I feel like you're going to enjoy that independence of yours for 2 glorious weeks until you catch typhus or freeze to death.
Yeah, so what? If you're living the Diogenes life, then you won't be afraid to die. There's nothing to be scared of, because once you die, you're not around to experience it.
I thought you said the point was to live like the animals we are. Animals try to avoid dying. Why should we be any exception?
Well, we're special animals. We have reason, and we can see that death is really nothing to fear.
Okay, so let me see if I have this straight. I'm sleeping on the icy ground, eating berries, and not caring about the predators and parasites that might send me to an early grave. Am I just not supposed to care about anything?
Well, no, Diogenes cared about a lot of things. He believed in honesty, and he was really generous with his time and advice. So he must have believed in helping others live a better life. Plus, he was a lot of fun. He had a great sense of humor.
Oh, yeah, there's that hilarious story about the time he met Alexander the Great. Alexander says to him, "What can I do to help you?" And Diogenes says, "Move, you're blocking my light."
Ah, cheeky.
He would have made a great Brit, I have to say. And he was famous for his clever zingers like that. He had a scad of them. We could even think of him as doing philosophy through comedy.
Exactly. That's why we should be more like him.
Let's not go that far.
I bet our guest will get you on board. It's Inger Kuin from the University of Virginia, who's got a new book about Diogenes.
In the meantime, we wanted to know if anyone is living the Diogenes life today. So we sent our roving philosophical reporter, Sarah Lai Sterland, to find out. She files this report.
2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Diogenes challenged norms with provocative public acts. He even lived like a feral dog.
He pissed on people's legs. He barked at people.
That's Mark Usher, a classics professor at the University of Vermont. He's the author of a book on Diogenes and the Cynics called How to Say No. Diogenes believed that personal freedom and happiness came from desiring less, training to endure hardship, and choosing to live within the limits of the natural world. Like other ancient Greek philosophers, he believed that chasing money and power as an end was foolish.
There's a great quote where Diogenes says, to get out of the predicament we are in as human beings, we have to use the logos, our reason, or we have to use brachos. And brachos is a double entendre because it can mean rings, like rings that you put on horses, or it can mean noose. So if you don't use your noodle, you might as well string yourself up because you're gonna self-destruct.
The Cynics lived according to Diogenes' values of less is more by living on the streets.
They were performance artists. They were trying to push the limits to show you what's possible if you really wanted it to be possible.
We're all working for a common end, and that is total revolution and a recreation of so-called power.
That's Penny Rimbaud, co-founder, drummer, and chief lyricist of the activist anarchist punk band Crass. In 1979, Crass released their first album, The Feeding of the 5,000.
I am a product. I am a symbol. I'm endless. I'm lost. Fruitless. I'm lost. Games.
The lyrics in so many of their songs are filled with attacks against institutional authority.
They ask me why I'm made for why I'm bad. They tell me I've got things they never read. They tell me go to church and see the light. Cause the good Lord's always right. So what? So what?
Crass's defiant attitude wasn't just a stage act. They believed that Margaret Thatcher's capitalist economy was the wrong path for the UK.
We were trying to offer people a release from the world that they felt that they were caught in.
You can read about the band's influence on Britain's cultural and political scene in The Story of Crass, a book that discusses their legacy and many spectacular pranks. The book's author, music journalist George Berger, writes that the band led by example.
So what?
Crass sold more records than AC/DC at their peak, but they always published their music independently, and they sold their singles at discounts through small record shops, fanzines, and the mail.
Buy now, let's go. Buy now, say hello. Can put small to your life. To enter Summer's paradise.
At concerts, they handed out pamphlets with song lyrics, essays, and anti-capitalist manifestos. They didn't sell any merch. They organised an annual free festival around the summer solstice at Stonehenge. When they toured, the band stayed at fans' homes.
We'd go to some little village or small town where they never got people playing because there wasn't any money there. We did because we didn't play for money.
Rimbaud says the band wanted to help people instead.
If we did make money, we would leave it with the people who organised the gig, or for the local kids to create a magazine, or buy a guitar, or do something which it would expand the purpose.
Their message was peace and kindness, but their music and activism was intended to shock the public interaction, and it often led to investigations and prosecutions. A local court in Manchester, for example, banned this track, Batter Motel, for violating an obscenity law. True to their less is more message, some of the band lived in an abandoned farmhouse northeast of London. Many of them still do. Rimbaud, who's now 82, says he still sleeps in the shed. They grow their own vegetables. Anybody is welcome to visit and stay, in exchange for doing some work and sharing a story. As Rimbaud says,
there's only one meaning to life, and that is to help each other. You do not need to suffer.
That was Crass's project. Penny Rimbaud is still working on living up to the ideals of the ancient Cynics.
You lose case
For Philosophy Talk, I'm Sarah Lai Sterland.
Hey, Ray, I've been looking at the clock and I think we're doing that thing again where we stop right when things are getting interesting.
You mean providing the starters? It's what we do, Josh. We set the stage, we frame the problem, we provide the brilliant intellectual appetizer, and then we politely wait for listeners to go for the main course.
Right, but that's the thing. We don't need to do that anymore. We've delivered the whole meal. The entire archive is now completely free.
Wait, so you're telling me that these people have been listening to our 10-minute introductions while the full hour-long conversations, guests and all, are just sitting there completely unlocked?
Exactly. Over 20 years of the examined life, now open access. It's all waiting for them on the main Philosophy Talk feed.
Well, in that case, why are they still listening to us talk about the conversation? We should probably just send them there.
I think that's a brilliant idea, Ray. If you're enjoying these starters, come find the main course. Search your podcast app for Philosophy Talk, the one with the full episodes.
We'll see you over there.